Welcome back, everybody. Our Thursday morning spectacular rolls on. Don't forget, tomorrow we've got our Super Bowl Stone Cold Lock picks. My dad will join us at this time tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to our next guest. I normally torment during the fall on Tuesdays, but yesterday, of course, being National Signing Day for the Division II, Division III schools, the first Wednesday in February is still a really big deal. And it was a big day yesterday for Steve Laqua and the Dragon football team, and it's great to see Coach Laqua back with us here. We were visiting off air that was it almost you had your feet up yesterday? You had everybody basically in the house by the middle of January.
There was not a lot of drama yesterday, which is good for signing day.
Yes.
And to be honest, the way the timelines with Division I decisions have gone, everything sped up, and we were anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks faster on the process this year of people making decisions. And maybe that was, that we did a better job of getting our top choices. And so the spots filled up quicker. Maybe it's the change of the landscape of the timeline. I really think that's more of what it is. But it became, believe it or not, is a very low stress kind of typical recruiting season. Now we felt it at other times earlier, but it's been good. It was nice to finally make it official.
How much have you defined, you and Chris Needham, who obviously handles all your recruiting, have changed your targeting strategy? Like, okay, we're gonna specifically find these guys we're looking at. Like we want a wide net, but we are specifically targeting these guys because we think they'll say yes.
That's what you're trying to get to as fast as you can, right? And I remember, you don't want to be I think Coach Bull would say, like, you don't want to find out that you're the second choice last. You want to find that out as soon as you can. If you're going to get to know sooner rather than later. And I think, we've been pretty good about just trying to be blunt of here's who we are, the good and the bad. Here's some limitations. Here's some great possibilities. If it's not for you, that's okay. Just let us know early, like giving them ways to get out early in the process. And I think that's helped. I also think we have some unique positions, slot wide receiver for one. I think our rush defensive end and that drop guy are unique positions in the sense of it's a very specific skill set. If you watch us play, people are right. They say there's your typical Dragon slot receiver.
Exactly right.
They all look the same. Like, yep, there's a fit for us that works in our offense that doesn't maybe work in a lot of other places. So finding those fits, I think, are great. And the other thing, when you're going back to talking fit and making a decision, I think we've gotten really good at crafting our message about here's who we are and why we play football at MSUM. Here's why being part of the program is important. And if that's not something you value and is something important in the decision, and you want to make it off of other things, facilities, whatever, then other place, go get in those recruiting battles. Yeah. But if what we have is what you're looking for, I think then the recruiting battle becomes a lot more specific of, hey, I can't find this everywhere. This is a great place for us to be.
Dragons signed 31 guys yesterday. I was talking about the kind of players that you have found when Rain was on it. I want to get to him in a second, but you have mined the local area. That's something you and I talked about when you got the job, that there have been too many players forgotten in this area. I look at, like, Gage Florence has become one of the best players in Division. How many schools were looking at him, Steve, outside of you guys?
I don't know that there was a lot, to be honest.
Right.
Look at a lot of our good players. People talk about must have been a lot of great recruiting battles.
Jack Strand, right? Same one, right? Strand's the same way.
Correct.
And then,
and I think credit to our coaches that we're finding maybe the right talent. Certainly credit to our players that they're working and developing themselves. But I think there's a culture of development here. There's a culture of support. There's a culture of encouragement, like that we can see what they can become. And I was talking about this yesterday, like everybody at this level is missing something. Maybe it's height, maybe it's speed, whatever, but they all have something they can bring. And if we can find that and then bring that out of them, that's where you get the truly good players. And then their deficiencies kind of disappear because they have that. And so it's been a really rewarding process to have those guys go through it. And I think our coaches are doing a really good job finding those guys.
I want to hammer some of the local guys here because we've talked about so often on the show, or people know about them. You got a couple more spuds. You and Kevin always kind of work hand in hand. Give us first the lowdown on Rain Battle. We had him on the show yesterday. He's played both ways. I think he was still trying to advocate he can catch the ball if you want to throw it to him next season. But he's going to play linebacker for you, right?
I think he wants to be a two-way player. He's probably one of those guys that can. He's He's super talented, not just on both sides of the football field, but he's a really good basketball
Yes.
player.
Yep.
Yeah, I was at the long jump pit last spring watching my daughter, and I turned to the other pit, and there's Rain running a triple jump, and his size and explosiveness, he hit that board as I fall. And so, like, he's just such a great athlete. And so I think that's certainly going to be exciting. You play multiple positions. We know when you're at a certain level of athleticism, you'll find a way on the field. It's just trying to find the right fit. And Rufus out of Moorhead, like, I feel like every time the ball hits his hands, like you got to watch,
Yeah.
pay attention. Like, this is going way back in time, but at NDSU when I was there, and you had Shaman Washington. And anytime he got the ball on a punt return or anything, like, you just looked, because it was like lightning in a bottle. Something was explosive would happen. And I feel like Rufus has got that same just explosion. Like, awesome things are going to happen. And they're from Moorhead, right? And you said it before, local recruiting. Like, we feel like we're the program, like, of the people for the people, like, of this region. Like, that's just, I've lived here. I've been part of it. Like, this is home. Like, there are so many kids in this area of home that they should have that opportunity to play at a high level. And we're trying to provide that opportunity. That's a great experience on and off the field.
You could never take the Class B out of a guy from Cavalier, North Dakota. I'm looking, you got Delax Burlington, you got Harvey, Velva in there, Mont Regent. Tell me about these guys targeting these players. We know there are dudes that play 9-man football. We've seen it. What stood out about these specific guys so they can make really good Dragons?
Well, a lot of times you find that they're great leaders on their team. Some of the best maybe athletes or players in their school. Their position versatility. They've been used at a lot of different spots because that's where their team needs them. You're playing multiple sports, so you've got that kind of going for you. You're leading in different roles. Maybe in basketball, you're not a great player, but you learn how to be a role player. Which you come to college, you're gonna have to learn those things.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like those guys are untapped potential. They can be great players when they focus on one sport, one side of the football. Like, I know what it's to be, and it's no offense to small town. Like, guys are giving it everything they got, but they've got limited resources. You don't have a great weight room. You maybe don't have a great weight program. You maybe have the shop teacher who really didn't play football. He played in the 8th grade back in 1965, and he's the coach, and he's like, that's okay. Or I was a victim of it too. I didn't coach the best. Connor McGovern's on our football team. I didn't coach him a lot. He knew what he was doing. I coached the other 10 guys because they had to try and elevate their level play. I'm like, Connor, this is fine, like, whatever. And so, like, people like, oh, great job, Steve. With Connor, like, yeah, I didn't do anything with him. And then, see, he just did it on his own.
Well, you're giving the secrets out now, a decade later. On what happened.
Exactly, right? Like, but so you have those guys in the small towns, and now they can come here. They can get some very specific position coaching, and they got a chance with high ceilings.
Despite the fact that the Division II guys are trying to get a waiver to play as long as they can, I believe Jack Strand's eligibility is up. You got 3 separate quarterbacks in your recruiting class, and we were visiting off air. They all do a little bit different. The kid from Morris is really intriguing. I know he committed to you over the summer. What stands out about Drew Hebner and what he brings to the table?
Well, I think he's just got such a high ceiling. Like, his arm is so live, and he hates to draw comparisons, right? But there is a lot of comparisons to what Jack was like in high school. The mechanics wasn't quite ironed out, but the arm was live. It popped. Really good pitcher, like, both of them. And he just at camp, he just effortlessly flicked the ball 45 yards in the air. And I turned and I was like, maybe my math is wrong because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I was like, hey, can just do that again. Let me see that. Like, I didn't know. Maybe a gust of wind caught it. It was like, no problem again. And he didn't even have to try.
Yeah.
So, and multi-sport guy, again, leader at a lot of different levels. So I think those are great things. Joey Calais brings a lot because he's from a great program in Wisconsin, a proven winner. Like, I feel like he only lost like 3 games his entire high school career.
Wow.
And then Madden Riggs is with us here from a really successful program in Omaha, and he's going to get to do spring ball, and he's doing our quarterback drills right now. It's just, I think it's a great situation, really competitive, because we only had 3 quarterbacks on the roster last fall.
Wow.
Tommy graduates. And so it's a good situation to be a quarterback in this program, but it's a good situation to get reps and get better.
Is that about as far away as I can remember? You went to Nebraska. Have you gone further than that? That's a ways for you guys.
That's probably at the very end of it. Going to Omaha is right at kind of the edge of our 300-mile radius, or roughly into that. So Chicago, we extended a bit, but we did that a handful of years ago, and slowly but surely we're making some progress there.
The NCAA is always really weird on this. Have you gotten any word that you guys may move up your signing day as well? I know Division I wants to get one in the summer. Is there any hope on that? Have you heard any progress on that?
There is hope on that. That's the conversation through the football coaches kind of group. It's made its way further along. I
Yep.
think there's support of it. I think the challenging part is this: in this area of the country, the recruiting happens really fast with the Valley schools and the decisions, which allows us to be a lot quicker in the process.
Selective, right? Yeah.
Correct. Now,
Yeah.
everywhere else, it's not moving as fast for Division II schools, so they don't have the urgency. They're like, oh, we're not even close. And there's also different levels of it. You have the Ferris States and the Grand Valleys are talking about, that's fine, add the second class. You guys feel like you're done. Well, we go nationally recruiting all the way until the end. So some of our best players are coming when we're flying kids in from Florida and California and wherever. And they're like, well, yeah, that's not happening for us. And so there's just different landscapes, whether it happens or not. I feel like it's going to, I just don't know when.
A couple questions before I let you go. I had an early look at your 25 schedule, which will include a bye week, stunner. You end with Mankato. I don't know who'd you get mad at the league offices on that. You got to go to Mankato, and you go to Northern Michigan. What's that about? To go to Marquette to open up the year?
Yeah, well, you're trying to find a non-conference game, and you're trying to find a Division II opponent, and I've known Shane since our time at NDSU, and when you start looking at distances to travel, believe it or not, that's one of your closest options.
That's wild.
Right. And so you feel good about that we can go there. The other thing, they have a domed facility. So when you have Jack Strand and you feel like you can guarantee one game is going to be inside with no weather elements, you feel pretty good about that.
Do it.
Right. In a right season quarterback to go on the road into that environment felt like, okay, that's a good situation. And then, they'll come back and play us at home. And, hopefully this is looking in the future, but we're going to have a new quarterback at that point, most likely their first start. Hey, it's at home. You remove some of the obstacles. So hopefully that's a good thing for us.
It's a little sticker shock as well for me. See the University of Jamestown on there. You're going to host the Jimmies though next season. That will be well attended. That's going to be a big time game, and that's your regular season finale.
I think it's really good, and we're working on setting up a pretty good partnership with them. We're going to do a spring scrimmage with them.
Nice.
The proximity and them transitioning, and Coach Mistro is a really good dude, and I think of just like this can be a win-win type deal. Just obviously we're going to be competitive against each other, but we can help each other in the off season, develop each program and whatnot. We're all in it for the good of the kids. And so I think that's worked out nice to have somebody so close that we're going to be able to partner with.
Okay. Evidently there's a football game on Sunday. Are you aware of this? Have you come out of the submarine? Do you know that there's a football game being played Sunday?
I did see that because I got kind of hyped at the beginning with the introduction. You said something about the lockdown picks or something with your dad tomorrow. And I thought, I heard lockdown. I was like, oh, this is my intro. You're talking about walkway. And then I was like, oh. So you had me hyped for a second.
Sorry about that. Sorry.
No, it's so good.
Who you got winning? Who's winning the game Sunday?
Well, who do I want to win or who do I think wins?
Yeah.
I think the Chiefs win. I'm pulling for the Eagles.
Okay.
Maybe I'm an underdog guy. I don't know. They've really built their roster nicely. You look at the Eagles and they've built a great roster. They've had to kind of overcome some different things. I think, we're talking about it as a team, a little spoiler alert, next week, Wednesday in our team meeting, but like Saquon Barkley, look at this guy okay, should he have gone for the all-time record or not? They held him back. Should have you see he slides to end the first playoff game. People are like, why didn't you score? There's a clip earlier in the season, I think it was when he went back to the Giants this year. I can't remember what year it was. It kind of blends together. Hey, you got a chance to get your career record for in a game.
Yep.
And he's like, no, put the others guys in, let them eat. And okay, let's take some lessons out of there. And there was some struggle between aligning my personal goals with the team goals, and maybe how did that go about? And so I think when you see that play out, you hopefully it works out for the best.
You got a snack you have to have on Super Bowl Sunday?
I don't know about have to have, but some people would call it chips and cheese. I would call it nachos.
Okay.
So I think that when you have melty, runny cheese, that's what I would like to have. So that's kind of my goal. I feel like I just keep coming back to that thing until it's either the chips are gone or the cheese is gone. So And then you get into these random arguments about is it nachos or chips or cheese?
Who's
right?
arguing with you on that? I'd like to know that. I've never heard that.
People that will argue that fact. It's crazy, right? Like we're on the same page. I'm glad we're on the same page.
You and I see eye to eye on that one. I can tell you that.
Well, we might be dividing the people right now. If that doesn't cost us viewers here.
I'll take the hits on that. It's great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for the time. Congrats on the class, and we'll chat again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Have a good one.
There you go. Steve Laqua joining us, MSUM head football coach. The Dragons signing 31 players as part of the class of 2025, and a bunch of local guys that you've seen play that we featured on our Games of the Week or First Down Friday. They're going to be playing across the river for the Dragons starting next year. We'll take our final break. We come back at a big-time Sports Thursday. We'll preview the Bison Showdown in Kansas City tonight, and we'll wrap things up. Hot Mike concludes after this.